Have you ever wanted something so badly that you were prepared to give up almost anything in order to get what you wanted? Maybe you desperately wanted a puppy or a kitten, so you promised your parents that you would do all the chores they needed done, or that you would clean your room every week if only you could have that puppy or kitten. Hello everyone, I'm Kathleen Pelly. Welcome to Journey with Story. I'm sure almost all of you have had that experience at one time or another of desperately wanting something so much that you were prepared to do almost anything to get it. But what if getting what you wanted would mean that someone else had to suffer? For example, if you were to get a puppy, but your little brother or sister had allergies and got very sick from being around the puppy, would you be okay to sacrifice your want in order to keep your little brother safe and well? Today's story is a tale from India about a king who desires something so much, despite the fact that he knows it's going to cause a lot of suffering. Let's take a journey with the tree god. King Brahmadatta stood on the shores of the river Ganges, gazing at the fine temples and marble palaces of his beautiful city of Benares. But he was not happy. All over India there are temples and palaces like mine, he said to himself. I want a building that is different somehow, a magnificent palace that people will travel from far and wide to see. He noticed a building with a row of columns gleaming in the sunlight. Every palace is supported by many columns, he thought to himself. If I had a palace supported by only one great column, that would be a wonder indeed. King Brahmadatta asked his workers to build him a magnificent palace supported by one column alone. That column will need to be made from a mighty tree, said the workers, so they went off to the forest to find one. It took many months to find a tree that was tall, straight, and strong enough to support a palace roof. But at last a tree was found. However, it was far too big and heavy to carry along the narrow roads to the city. When the king heard that the workers couldn't bring a tree from the forest, he ordered them to search the park beside his palace. I must have my column, he said. The only tree in the park that was tall, straight, and strong enough to support a roof alone was the towering sal tree. But the sal tree was a holy tree, worshipped by everyone in Benares, including the royal family themselves. The workmen were afraid to cut it down. Anxiously, they reported the problem to the king. I don't care if it's a holy tree, cried the king. I want my new palace. Cut it down and begin your work. The workers knew they had no choice, but first they placed garlands of flowers around the tree for the tree god who lived there. O God of the sal tree, they cried, forgive us, for we have been ordered to cut down your tree. We pray that you can find a new home. Then the people of Benares also came and brought offerings to the sal tree. They begged the tree god to save himself. The tree god listened to their words, but he could not leave his home, for his children were growing up as young sal trees around him. If the king orders the sal tree to be cut down, then I must die, he told the people. But if it falls, it will crush my children growing below. To save them, I shall speak to the king. That night, the king woke up, feeling uneasy. Suddenly, a small, faint light began to glow before him. It grew larger and brighter until the whole room was golden, and the dazzling figure of the tree god appeared, dressed in rich, princely clothes. King Brahmadatta sat up in fright. "Who are you?" he gasped. "In my kingdom I am called the Lucky Tree," said the tree god. "For 60,000 years I have brought luck and happiness to the people who have worshipped me. Why now must you destroy my home?" "No other tree is as tall and straight and strong," said the king. "You will be the only column in my magnificent palace and become famous throughout India." "So be it," said the tree god sadly. "But I ask that first you cut off the top of my tree, then the middle, and finally the lowest part." "Surely that will be the most painful death for you," said the king. "Yes," agreed the tree god, "but it will save the young sal trees, who are my children, from being crushed." At these words, the king saw how the tree god cared more for others than himself. And with shame, he suddenly realized how selfish he had become. "Oh, sal tree, forgive me," said the king. "I shall spare your children, and no harm shall ever come to you." At these words, the light faded, and the tree god disappeared. And from that day, everyone noticed a change in King Brahmadatta. He took care of the poor and needy in his city, which brought happiness to everyone, thanks to the god of the ancient sal tree. Well, what do you think this story's souvenir is? Yes, I think it's an easy one to spot, isn't it? Sometimes we will have to sacrifice what we want in order to let others be happy. Cheerio then. Join me next time for Journey with Story. Music and post-production was by Colette Jonas.